Good morning, good morning. Hey, it's nice to be back. Wow. Come on, give God a praise. Good day today. Good day today. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, sit down. Oh, well, I tell you what. When we were joking in the back, I don't know if we were joking or half serious, but with everything that you guys know that I've been dealing, I think probably these last 3 years has been when I've done 3 tours in Ukraine, and then the situation in Gaza and dealing with all that. And I got into this. I didn't even tell the guys this because it just, sometimes, like there's some churches that that you can't talk about things because you just can't. But hey, it's New York. And it's me, right? So you guys know me. I was trying to figure out how many years I have been coming here. And it's had to be pretty close to 20 that I've been coming in and out of here. And so, but you guys still invite me back. I don't know. You got to find some other idiots that can do a better job than this. Got to find somebody. But I did a little situation because I'd worked with the military in Ukraine. And that, as we know, is just, and I know you guys are praying for that. That's just a tough situation. And we're just believing that, but I was also doing some things for our government, and I was on the border down in South Texas, and got a little more of a situation than what I had thought it was going to be. And there's a lot of things that I want to walk through with you this morning, and I'm not going to be lengthy. I thought it would have been easier to fly. We had a bunch of visitors from Oklahoma yesterday, so I ran out of time. So thought, well, I'll just fly. Then I went to the Albany airport. I should have just drove. So I learned that lesson. Okay, that's got how many years to that? How much? 3 more years. Okay, so then I will just drive. I was traumatized. But anyways, got through it. And so with all of the things that, and I want to use, when I was here last time, I talked to you guys about Paul's open door. And since then, the doors, and I do not want to understate this, and I don't want to overstate it, but I need you to understand of what you guys are a part of in Metro World Child. And sometimes I don't think I communicate it as well as maybe I should, because it's not just the largest Sunday school in the world. We are averaging now over 1,300,000 kids every week that hear the gospel. You better understand that, folks. You're a part of this. You are a part of something that has never been done in world history. And I don't, because when you go to a church that doesn't know me, and you tell them this, and you say, yeah, and last week we had 1,300,000 kids, and they give you the dog look, and they look at you and they think, okay, this guy's lying. He's a little bit too evangelistic here in this little thing. But it's it, guys. This is it. And that's not a one-off. That's not a crusade. That's like every week. And you're part of it. So give God a praise for what he's doing in this house and from this house all over the world, making some things happen that people said, that's not going to happen. And you know me, and the great man of power and faith, when the staff said, Pastor Bill, the Lord's opened that door. And you want to be motivating as the leader. Yes, we can do this. And I'm thinking, no, we can't. No. So should I kind of, what should I do? But just sovereignly, God has done some things that I'm going to be 77 in a couple of months. And you know, when you get to, because I am now the person. I'm turning into that old cranky preacher that I used to talk about when I was younger. And now I'm turned into that person. I'm that person. I remember, because you remember my mom left me on the street corner and I lived at the church. And so the pastor told me, he said, you always sit on the front row. Look, I was 12 years old. And I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm sitting there. And he would always let me sit around with the old missionaries. But I noticed, even at 12, whenever we would go out to eat after the service, and he would let me go sometimes, particularly if the missionaries were there. And I noticed that every missionary had gravy on their tie. Now, I don't know how that, I still remember that. Every one of them, not one. They all had something. Now. And I laughed last Sunday. I laughed. I said, you've turned into this. The thing you've feared the most has come upon you. So I needed your little pen. I need the little dopey pen that you guys were using. The Tide pen. Thank you. I never even knew Tide did that. But apparently it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Anyways, said all that to say that I wish I could be here more often. You probably don't, but I wish I could be here more often just to brag on you guys. I always tell Pastor Paul, I said, tell them what's going on. Tell them what they're able to do. And I don't usually push it much when I'm here. But I had some folks that went with me to the Philippines last year because they were sponsoring some Filipino kids that go to our Sunday school. And I don't think I've ever kind of bugged you guys to do this. But if for some strange reason you ever felt like you wanted to go somewhere that is much better than Albany Airport, but to go somewhere that the Holy Ghost will just take your heart out, put it in your hand, and let you look at it, and then go, I want to say that today because I probably won't talk much more about it. But if missions has ever been something that you thought, boy, I wish I could just see it, look at it, be around it. I take people 2 times a year over there. We're going to do it more in Africa now, probably next year. I've been taking folks to the Philippines for quite a while. You go do Sunday school with us. We spend a lot of time. We do Sunday school in the garbage dumps there in downtown Manila. We do Sunday school on Friday. Today for the cemetery is Friday. You've got almost 1,000 people that live in the cemetery, on the graves, on the tombs, because it's fairly safe there. and they all kind of take care of each other. Um, 2 years ago, I thought, okay, we're going to do the Sunday school, and then we're going to do the medical clinic for the kids. And usually that's what we do. Then we take them back to the hotel. Well, this year I thought, you know what? A lot of these kids that live in the cemetery, they've got their sponsors that are here for the week. So I said, okay, after we're done with the clinic, we're not taking you back to the hotel. We're staying all night in the cemetery with the kids. and when I said it, it sounded like a good idea. But I thought, nope, I'm staying with it. I'm staying with it. Because when you have certain folks that are, help me, Pastor, I'm struggling here. I'm struggling. Anyways, they're not the kind of people that would specifically put on their list to go stay all night on a grave in the cemetery with, and I got it. And maybe that was just my little, and just, but anyways. But I should have been doing this a long time ago. And I saw them kind of go through this metamorphosis. Mm-hmm. So I have to justify my PhD because it was the biggest waste of time I ever done in my life. So sometimes I like to use words just to somehow justify that little adventure that I did. But just to get those pastors staying in on these tombs and on with, but I watched it. Understand what I'm saying? I watched it. Something shifted in those three people that were with me. I'm only telling that to you guys, that if you ever decide you ever want to see something, be around something, be a part of something, really grab a hold of something that you're a part of, because a lot of you guys have sponsored kids. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But please let me know. Let me know. As I said, we do it twice a year. As I was reading some stats that the most productive demographic in American Christianity is middle-aged ladies. Middle-aged. I'm killing myself here. That the Lord dropped something in their spirit when they were young. But life happened, as life has a way of happening. And now when they're, help me, Pastor, I'm dying here. Okay. Yes, 40-ish. Thank you. Yes, 40-ish. They are the most productive people in American Christianity. Hence, therefore, if some of you ever thought somewhere down the road, anyways, so I'm going to say, so it's nice to be back, and it's nice to see some friendly faces. New York has been the way New York is. We all love New York City. That's why all of you live here. And so I get it 100%. Okay? But thank you. I've lived there now for 45 years. We have come to the conclusion that I am the longest running pastor that has stayed. I don't live on Long Island, don't live in Jersey. I still live in Brooklyn, and I'm still there representing you because I am your missionary. I am your missionary. Just so you know, I'm still there, folks. I'm still in the fight. And people say, oh, you look good. No, I don't. I know I don't. I've lived there 45 years, folks. Come on. What do you expect? I'm giving this my best shot. But I'm still there. So I'm going to be at the back table for a bit after the service. Um, most of you, I would guess, have read the book Whose Child Is This? But we've added 3 more chapters. So this is a new addition, particularly with about Africa and everything that's been going there. And so if you have not had a chance to pick this book up, I'm sure many of you are readers that particularly when you're reading about something that you can do and that you are a part of. And so many of you have been over all these years. So if you haven't got this one, grab that, not just for yourself, but maybe give it to a friend that can understand they can be a part of this as well. So there's a bunch of other books. If I make sense in something today, sometimes I do, sometimes not. But if I do, there's a lot of stuff. If you enjoy reading, not just of what we're doing around the world, but in U.S., because now we've got a denomination that has asked us to try to start a Metro World Child Sunday School in every state in the United States. Who knew, folks? Who knew? It's only taken 45 years to somebody, to figure that could be a good thing. That could be a good thing. So now the international side has gone way off, and it's amazing. But now, and these guys are pretty, I think they're pretty serious. And so when somebody says, because you know how church folk, please pray for me. Whatever. Okay, I get it. Okay. No, you know, we all know the right things to say. Okay. It's like when you come in, God bless you. Okay, I get it. Got it. But like when I ask you to pray for me, it's like, yeah. So on the sponsorship side of it, from this was Kenya, because there's so much going on the Kenya side. Our director was eating at one of the schools with the kids, and she was walking, and you know, a lot of these kids walk a really long way to go to school, and she saw these boys pulling leaves off of a bush, and yeah, so that's lunch. So she sat and had some leaves and had those for lunch. Now, I know there's some young people here. I used to be nicer, but I'm not anymore. So let me just throw it out there. All the young people, you need to thank God every day you live in this country. Mm-hmm. Yep. But just when you go to a part of the world that you kind of hear about, or you maybe see a documentary, or you think, and then you are there. And then you walk with me, walk with our team, do the Sunday school. Okay? Stay in the cemetery overnight. Mm-hmm. We are living in a wacky time. You know it. I know it. And if we are ever, like I get that book that I saw it on the news the other day of, we're not talking about a lot of that in this message because I don't want to get on a rabbit trail. Seeing how these books that are kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and I just got a couple of those books just so I could look at it. I showed it to the staff in New York the other day. How it's done, how it's illustrated, the words, the term. It's slick, folks. They're slick. They're very slick to even indoctrinate preschoolers, first grade. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere the church has got to speak with a louder voice. Come on. The church has got to speak with a louder voice because it's out there, guys. And so I got those books myself, and I thought, I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking, This is how they do. Very subtly, but it's happening. So we are living in some wacky times. But when we can get our young people in this country to see how fortunate they are to live in this nation and not be indoctrinated with some of the foolishness that's being spoken of in the public schools. I'll be around as long as we need to go. We're going for lunch today? Okay, good. Yeah, it's important. I had 2 donuts this morning, so thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So, but I'll be around here as long as I want to, and as long as you want me to. I'll be there. Okay. So, when you see these kids, that's what they eat for their lunch, and most of them for the same thing for dinner. I wanted you to see this so that when you see these pictures back there on the table, I have these every year when I come out to see you guys, because I want you to, I've got kids from Metro Sunday School Philippines and Kenya. So I've got both of those countries. These are the most neediest ones back there. Obviously, all the information is back there. We've got some of the ladies. You got a team of ladies, and we'll be back there. Usually I have a bunch of people that come up from New York, but we had so many visitors from Oklahoma that but they didn't get a chance to get back here. So please, if you have not sponsored one of the kids, it's $34 a month commitment. This is one of the Kenya kids. One of the main things that the sponsorship does, it gives them a hot meal every day. And so, just so you understand what this does and the role that you play in the life of a kid, and that's what that is. Okay, I want you to get your Bibles out. We're going to chat here for a little bit. I was in London at a cathedral that had a missionary speaker over about 100 years ago. And he was a missionary to Africa. He had been speaking to the folks. And it was one of those cathedrals, if you guys have ever been in that part of the world, where some of them will be kind of a round, and they'll have sometimes one balcony, sometimes 2 balconies. And so he was speaking about what he had seen. Listen to me, because I'm gonna press you for a little bit this morning, because I'm going to ask you a question, and then it cannot be answered collectively. Some questions can be answered in a crowd. Not today. Today is kind of a you. It's not the one next to you. It's you. And so this missionary, his name was Robert Moffat. And for those of you that are a little more astute in your missions understanding, great guy, spent his life, literally, to try to reach the African people. And he made a statement in his message. He said, I just came back from Africa, and I saw the smoke from 1,000 villages where the gospel had never been preached. Don't miss this. I saw the smoke from 1,000 villages. Gospel had never been preached there. But right there in that corner of the second balcony, there was a young man. And once that missionary said that, the young man, early 20s, he could see in his mind's eye what the missionary had seen, what the missionary was trying to convey to the congregation. He could see something. It clicked, as we say. Service is over. Moffat's standing at the back, shaking hands with the folks as they left. And the guy came out, the young man, shook Moffat's hand. He said, Dr. Moffat, he said, what do you need? He said, you need prayer, you need resources, what do you need? And the old missionary took the young man's hand. He said, I just need somebody to come and help me. Oh. Things that make you go. Exactly. Something was put into motion at the back door on Sunday morning. You just thought, this is just now the Sunday morning service. No. Because you don't know what's going to happen on any Sunday, do you? Nope. You never know how the Holy Ghost is just going to drop something in your spirit that'll reach out and whack you and think, oh. That young man, because it's like, yeah, I'll come help. I'll come help. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, it sounds good on a Sunday morning. But when it all comes down to it, but this young man, went and, spent his life from that time on working with the African people. Had a heart for that part of the world. Something evolved there. When he died, 2 of his converts found him. He was in prayer in a rainstorm. He died in prayer on this rainstorm, and they sent a wire back to London to the denomination. It was a Baptist bunch in London that he had been ordained because felt like he needed to be, and said, your man's dead, we're going to bury him here. We know that's what he would want. Well, now that changed, because even the denomination didn't want him to go to Africa. They said, no, you're crazy, because when you do something unusual, you know how it goes. People sometimes just want to try to talk you out of it. And a lot of times the same people that are trying to talk you into something are the ones, So the denomination says, no, you can't bury him there. He's one of us. Bring him, we're going to send a boat. We're going to bury him here, back in England. Send wire back. Africans said, no, we believe he would want to be buried here. Oh, the wire comes back from London, says, nope, we're going to send a boat. We're going to get him. Anyways, long story short, so what happens? The converts, they're going to walk him. It's almost 100 miles from where he was, where Victoria Falls is. And they're going to walk him to the coast at Mozambique and wait for the boat to come from almost a month for the boat to get there. But what they did, they wrapped him up and they took the body over to Mozambique. But before they wrapped it up in sheets, they took a knife and cut his heart out of his dead body, put it in a metal box and locked it. Then wrapped his body up, walked him to the coast. Interesting. If you ever get to London, go to Westminster Abbey. You hear about it. If you ever go. All different rooms. The folks in this room called the nave. They kind of know me because every time I go to London, I always go to the nave. It's important to me. Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers over here, a couple of other politicians over there. But right here, it's a bronze tombstone. It's the tombstone of the young man. You know his name, David Livingstone. If you don't know that name, you can Google it. Everybody should know the name David Livingstone. Everybody. Go to London. The bronze tombstone marks the place of where his body lies. But if you ever get on the Rwanda-Tanzania border, there's a little village, Bagamoyo. And there's a tree on the outside of that village. Little sign, still there the last time I was there. Hand-carved sign says, at the bottom of this tree is buried David Livingstone's heart. His heart was always with us. Now, it will be with us forever. How did all that evolve? How did that come about? On one Sunday morning, one young man saw the smoke from 1,000 villages, and it clicked. Something clicked. Have you ever been to that, what I call a defining moment? That when I was staying on that street corner where my mother left me at 12 years old, my life, you don't know it when you're 12 and your mother's gone and she never came back. And those 3 days I sat on that corner without food or water, I did not know. I didn't know. I was 12. That was a defining moment because all of you know, and this was 1960. Okay? So what happened? What happened? Anybody could have picked me up those 3 days. Anybody. Gang member, drug dealer, pedophile, pick it. But the only one that stopped was the very ordinary Christian. Anybody stopped? No, nobody stopped except one. Except one. Except one. The government of the country of Côte d'Ivoire, in French, in English, Ivory Coast, they have opened up their entire country for us to come and do Metro Sunday School across the whole country. Just like Zambia. Zambia has opened up and said, we've seen the change in the kids from Kenya. So we've been there 13 years. They said, now we want you to bring that to our country. It's carte blanche. Wherever you want to go in our country, you can go and do what you do for these kids because we can't take care of our own kids, but we need help. See, this is what you're a part of, folks, every week. This is what you're a part of. Doors that have opened to us that people said, those doors will never be open. Well, you were wrong. Because now you understand. This is what's happening. And when you look at this, when I went back to see that place where Livingstone's heart is buried, and you say, his heart was here. His heart was always with us. Now his heart will be with us forever. So what does all this mean for us on this Sunday morning? I don't know. But I'm sensing after this thing in McAllen, Texas, at the border a couple of weeks ago, and everything else that's happened, and for those of you that follow me on Facebook, you've seen a little bit when I got blown up by that drone last year in Belgorod, Russia. And all of these things, when people have said, we've seen. See, it's taken all of these years for people, I guess, to figure out, hey, that guy's pretty serious. I guess maybe I didn't convey that it took me to be 77 until people are finally realizing. But now doors are opening to us that would never have been opened to us. And so I would ask you this question for the couple of minutes we've got left. Is what do you see? It seems like this is the question that I have had. It's been pressing me, whether it was Ukraine. I've got to go to Gaza one more time this year. For those of you that have followed me, when we found Mary, the little girl, I did a staff meeting in one of the blown up buildings at midnight, and we found a little girl crying outside the building. And she was 5, maybe. And with my interpreter, I said, what? Find out she doesn't know her name. She doesn't know her name. She doesn't know how old she is. I said, okay. I said, I'm just going to take her back to the States. The IDF says, no, you can't take her out of here. I said, I'm Pastor Bill. I can do this. So somehow I have this mindset that I can just, we're just going to pick this kid up and we're going to take him back to the United States. This little girl. Anyways, that's another story for another day. But when you ask yourself, like I've had to, when seeing what I've seen, particularly these last 3 years, and now this mess at the border, and now as these other things, and it's not just all bad things, it's the stuff of the fights and the 3 wars that I've been dealing with and all this other stuff, and now it's the flip side of the coin is the great stuff where the doors have opened and all of these things have been kind of thrown in our lap. I never thought, and a 25-year-old can't preach this. 77-year-old can. And so, seeing what I have seen all over the world, and now, as we move into some extraordinary doors that are opening, Ivory Coast, the country opened up. Madagascar has opened up. I always thought that was just a movie. No, it's a country. So now Madagascar has said, can you come and do Sunday school here? Hey, sure. I'll just be there next week. But not through Albany. And I thought, and Sierra Leone and Angola, where a lot of these kids still from the Civil War are still getting their legs blown off because they're stepping on landmines. Come on, man. Come on. We're still, so I said, if you want us there, we can do that. In Jesus' name, we can do that. But the question is, and I sit at my desk. And sometimes when I call you, that's where I'm sitting. You'll know where I'm sitting because I got the map of the whole world right there. And I'm looking. And I wonder, I never thought I would look at something and see something that would have never seemed possible. But here we are. And so in John chapter 20, flip over to it quickly. I talked last Sunday at the church that I was speaking at. And I think because it's still kind of burning in me, it just makes sense as the first Easter. And in this 20th chapter, this first Easter, you would have thought that some people that knew Jesus personally, firsthand, saw it, heard his message, saw the miracles, knew what was supposed to be happening. You would think that first Easter would have been a point of revelation, of fulfilled prophecy or something. And yet these three people, biblically, three of Jesus's closest friends, come to an empty tomb. They look in the tomb, and boy, I wish I'd have been there. I could have slapped somebody then. And so you've got three of Jesus's closest friends come to an empty tomb. They look in, and if I'd have been there, I would have yelled at them. What do you see? What do you see? You've got something in front of you that you should understand. You should. But do you? Let's look at it for a couple of minutes and see if it makes sense. John chapter 20. What do you see? That's the question, not collectively to be answered this morning, individually. Because I'm going to ask every one of you, what do you see? As we move through this message, what do you see? That's why I'm pressing you to go with me to the Philippines. See something through a different set of eyes. What do you see? Let's go to first verse. John chapter 20, first. Mary, the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene comes. She comes early. It's when it was dark. She comes to the sepulcher. She sees the stone was taken. Now, I always use the King James Bible. That's the one Jesus read. So I stayed with this one. It's just my own deal. Okay. So whatever bogus translation you're reading out of, we're staying with the King here. Okay. And she looks in and she sees she sees the stone has been taken away from the sepulcher. Interesting word, this word see or seeth there. She looks in, she sees something. That word see in English, see or seeth, whichever translation you're looking at, is actually in the Greek language, is the Greek word blepo. The title, what do you see? On an everyday basis, David Livingston, when he heard Moffat say the smoke from 1,000 villages where the gospel had never been preached, the Holy Ghost, he could see it in his mind's eye. It was brought. Do you see where we're going here today? It was there. And his life was changed. His whole life flipped. I never thought I would end up living in New York City and now doing what we're doing all over the world. Because at that certain point in your life, and you think, that man, what could that? Yeah. What do you see? That's why the most productive demographic in American Christianity is 40-ish. Am I staying with the 40-ish? 40-ish. 40 that are in that ish category. Yeah, exactly. You understand? What do you see, Mary? She see the stone was moved. It's empty. She looks at, she sees the stone is moved. What do you see? That word see, you see it. Blepo in the Greek. You know what it means? It means she only saw with her eyes. She looks and goes, oh, it's moved. Stone's moved. Tomb's empty. If anybody should have understood what she was looking at, she should have got it. She didn't get it. How does that happen? I'm asking you, because this is not a collective question, is it? No, it is not. This is an individual question that can only be answered accurately individually. So here we are. What do you see? She just sees with her eyes. Oh, stones moved. Oh, tomb's empty. Oh, I don't get it. No, you didn't get it. How? How is that possible? You tell me. This is the time. Whether it was during that time in world history or this time that we're living, it doesn't change, guys. It's all the same. Only the names change. Because you've got to get people to see. Why is it that nobody stopped? I sat there for 3 days. But that one Christian man, he was actually driving. You know, I've told this story here before, where his son was dying in the hospital of leukemia. He'd been going from work every day. Saw me on the third afternoon. Just stopped. Walked over, put his hand on my shoulder, and just said, "Are you okay?" So, the world's biggest Sunday school, it started on a street corner with a man whose own kid was dying. And yet, he stopped for me. I said, he stopped for me. That's why when I tell people one person can make a difference, and people go, that's just no. That's not just a Sunday morning nice little colloquialism. One person. Something happened. He saw me. He saw me. He saw something in me that my mother didn't even see in me. But he saw something in me. So I got to keep bugging you with the question until somebody grabs it. What do you see? It's not about what I know what I'm saying. Yeah, I get it. How about you? What do you see? Mary, she only saw with her eyes. But wait a minute. Let's go over to verse 6 real quick. Verse 6, Peter comes over. Yeah. Now Peter comes into the sepulchre, and he sees, same word in verse 6 as it was when Mary looked in verse 1, and he goes, and sees the linen clothes. So Peter looks in, sees the same thing. Oh, stones moved, tomb's empty, he sees. And in the English, it's the same word. But it's not in the original. In the Greek, when Peter looks in verse 6, it's a Greek word theorio, which is where we get the English word theory. Oh, Peter looks in, and he's now putting together a theory, a hypothesis. Okay, I'm working it. Peter looks in, and he goes, tomb's empty. Wait a minute. This is the guy who walked on water. Oh, so for those of you, well, Lord did a miracle to me. Yeah, well, good for you. What do you see now? What do you see now? You know, when I got busted in the face in Brooklyn with that brick, I've told you that story before. I was blind in this eye for 3 months. Yeah, and I can talk about that miracle, but what do I see today? Am I still able to see God do something now? Not back 10 years, 15 years ago. And that's why I'm pressing you guys and asking you, what do you see? Well, I know. Shut up. Come on, folks. You understand how this thing works. What do you see, Mary? She looks in, it's blepo. She only sees with her eyes. But Peter, he's is he alive? I don't know. He said he would rise. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. No. He's trying to figure it out. he only saw with his mind. He's trying to figure. You've been around people. Well, we don't believe that. Okay, all right. Where was Peter from? I think he was from upstate New York. No, I don't know that. That's scripturally, I can't prove that. But I think somewhere in this adventure at the tomb, you've got the one she sees with what? She only sees the obvious. Then Peter, if anybody should have understood what he was looking for and at a fulfilled prophecy, because he heard Jesus say, this is what he was going to do. This is how it's going to work. And now, but he still doesn't get it. After walking on water. So you tell me, what does it take to get, my God, I'm going to slap somebody in a minute. I'm just about there. I'm asking you, what then does it take for folks like me and you that have been, do you understand what this church represents? The lighthouse, the whole thing, and everything that happens here on a consistent basis, and it's just ho-hum it, ho-hum, ho-hum. What do you see, Mary? Blepo. She only sees with her eyes. Oh, just stone's gone. Tomb's empty. Peter, he should have got it. He's building a theory, trying to put it together. But wait a minute. Go to verse 8. My time's gone. Verse 8. And there went in the other disciple. This was John, the other disciple. Yep. And he comes to the sepulcher, and he saw, it's basically same word in English from the first verse or sixth verse with Peter. When he comes in, and he saw, wait a minute, and he saw, comma, and believed. Get it. He saw and believed. Bring me that next picture, I think. Yeah. See, when John looks in, it's a different Greek word again. Yeah. It's not in English. It looks like it says the same thing. Nope. Not even close. Mary looks in. Peter looks in. Theoreo. John looks in. Ido. Silent E in the Greek. Ido. Know what it means? Got it? You got it? He saw with his heart. There's an old song. I like the old song. When you get old, you like old things. I like the old song. You know, the choruses are nice. I like the old songs. He saw with his heart. It's a song because I never knew how to read a songbook like in the old days. And one of the old ladies had to teach me how to go. I still don't even know how you say it. From how you say that. It goes from this place to this one and this one on the songbook. Yeah. Is it stanza? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I didn't understand it. She was trying to teach me to read the dopey songbook. But I remembered the song. You ask me how I know he lives. He lives within my heart. Why do I still remember that song? From when I was 12 years old, sitting on the front row. You tell me. Because when that man picked me up, got me a hamburger and a Coke. And then he made some phone calls. And this was all happening within a 5-hour time span. 5 hours. All this was happening. He got me the hamburger, Coke. He made a phone call. And the church that he was going to was taking kids to a Sunday school camp that afternoon. He borrowed $17.50 because he didn't even have $17.50. He borrowed it so he could sponsor me to go to this camp. And that's where I came to know Jesus. I came to the front when the preacher said, if you want Jesus, come to the front. And it was all church kids. I was the only non-church kid at that camp. So when the kids came to the front to pray, all the church folk came up and prayed for the church kids. I remember this like yesterday, folks, because I was kneeling right here. I didn't have anybody to pray for me. It took me 2 days because I asked, you know why nobody would pray for me at the front? Because I still had the same clothes on that the man picked me up in because I didn't have anything else. So I'm sitting here, and I guess the speaker must have figured it out that there was nobody helping me. And I remember he just said, just pray. Just pray. Just pray, boy. Jesus will hear you. Okay, that's pretty abstract for a 12-year-old kid that's never been to church ever. Nothing. But I remember what I prayed to. It's funny when you're little, you have sometimes a selective memory. Yeah. Mine's very selective. I remember, you know what I said? I said, Jesus, I said, my mother doesn't want me. I said, now the church people don't want me. I said, but if you want me, I'll give my life to you. And something happened right at the front of that old, crummy old church camp. Something happened. Talking about a defining moment? Yeah. You want to talk about a spiritual experience? Yeah. But at the end of the day, last week, 1,300,000 kids heard the story of Jesus one more time. Because one. What do you see? What do you see? John, he saw, comma, and he believed. Not even a question. Yep, he's alive. He's alive. He never, my God, and never questioned it. I know. You ask me how I know he lives? Because the little boy that nobody wanted, I saw him for who he was, and he cared for me. And now I get to share that same story with you guys. And so that you know what you're a part of, what you're a part. What do you see? What do you see, Mary? Blepo. She couldn't get it. Peter, you walked on water. What do you see? You should know. Theoreo. He was trying. But then John goes, oh, I know. I know exactly what I'm looking at. Because he lives in my heart. And he's alive. He's alive. He's not there. He's not there. He's not. He's alive. He's alive. So, what's in store for all of us this year? I think this is going to be a great year. In the midst of all the goofy stuff that we see in politics and the wars and the famine and all the other stuff that goes with this world that we live in, he's still alive. You ask me how I know? Why am I going back to Gaza? I got to go because he lives. So if I can get one more kid, it's die of starvation. Our staff members still are every Saturday night. Han, for those of you that have followed me on Facebook, and Han, every Saturday night, he takes a little carton of food. The cart gets, The IDF lets him come on North Exit in Gaza. His mother's been killed there. His sister's been killed there. But they let him take the food, and all night he takes the food and finds one more kid that needs to know. And when he goes, every midnight, every Saturday night and Sunday night, guess what? You're there. I need you to see that you are there. They open the gate for him with his little food cart, and you're there. Why? Because you see something. So I will end up and say this one last time. What do you see? What do you see? He stopped. He saw something in me. My mother didn't. Nobody did. But he saw, and he knew. One of the conversations I had several years ago, I asked him, I said, Dave, why did you borrow that money? Your old boy was dying. He said, I thought if I could just get you to that camp, and if I could just get you to understand what Jesus did for you, maybe your life would change. That's what he said. I guess it did, didn't it? Because he saw. He saw. So, Father, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because whether it's Mary, Peter, or John, or anybody sitting in this room today, the question's the same. What do you see? What do you see? So my prayer for my friends this year is that we'll see beyond ourselves, that we'll see not just the obvious, but those things that you see. Help us to see. That's our prayer. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you. Oh, my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound. And let it be a sweet, sweet sound. And let it be a sweet, sweet sound.